Where is Robyn? Is she still here? I haven't seen Robyn all night. Bill, where is she? Is she on the honeymoon already? Runaway bride. Well, at least she's married. We all witnessed it, right? She could still run away? Oh, okay. Oh, there she is. Hi, Robyn.
There you are.
So I know Robyn for 28 years now, and I actually graduated on a Friday, and I started work on a Monday, and there was Robyn. She was my boss. So I'm not going to go into any of those details. I learned an awful lot from her. In fact, one of the things that I learned from her is not to, to take my time in making decisions, not to jump to any kind of premature conclusions. Except there was one time that I actually saw Robyn make a very spontaneous decision. It was a Sunday morning, and I got a call, and she told me that she was going to actually jump from a plane. And I said to her, do me a favor, don't call me if you break your leg. But that night, we were in the emergency room together. She broke her leg. So Bill, if it's taken her this long, I just wanted you to know some of the background to her decision-making and why maybe it's taken a little bit longer than most. In any case, in life, I think we all, in the end, want to know when you evaluate, how your life is. It's not the job that you held or the other things that you do to pass through your days, but it's really the relationships that you make. And first of all, Robyn, you're probably one of the most special people that I've ever met in my entire life. You have such a... You find the positive in everything and everyone, and your spirit, as beautiful and as free as it is just, I'm just always in awe of that. And then here comes Bill. I mean, my God, Bill, my heart is gonna it's so blown up tonight. It's so full watching you both serenade, to the waltz and singing, and I hope that as you go through life, you always will be as happy as you are today. I'm sure of it, that you will be. We love you, Robyn, I love you. Mwah.
You're a tough act to follow, Carolyn. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway, you already heard from me from the pulpit, so I'm not going to do any of that. Bill asked me to give a little background. I mean, I've been very much a part of Bill's life. I sometimes described him to people as the kid that won't go away. But anyway, I did theology here in New York City at Union Theological Seminary, and then I ended up from some strange twist as a Canadian as I am, living in Ottawa right now. But in any case, I ended up in Lynn, Massachusetts for a curacy, my first posting, where you learn all the things you got to learn, you make the mistakes you're going to make, and all the rest of it. So I ended up in this huge parish, St. Stephen's Lynn. The rector wanted me to come and be there, a Canadian, and then I go back to the Canadian church. So I ended up in Lynn, met all kinds of interesting people, and then there was this kid that hung around the church all the time. And it was almost like he was living at the church. The church was raising him. After school, he'd be in my office. He was around. There was a lot of kids around the place, and Bill was there. And I recognized almost immediately that this was a kid with an amazing intelligence and capability. And if he hasn't told you, Bill was raised in the ghetto. And but he came out of that kind of situation shining. And I always said the dear Lord God had his hand on him because, when things were tough, somehow or other, he rose above all this stuff. And anyway, Bill went to Phillips Exeter Academy because of his intelligence, and I was pushing that a little bit, and he went there, and I was glad to take him there. And because he was a welfare kid, they did all that for nothing. And because I was dirt poor as a member of the clergy anyway, and in time I took legal custody of Bill, and and I'm going to tell you a funny story. When I left Lynn, Massachusetts, I went back to Canada, and because my bishop was going to send me to the northern boondocks of New Brunswick, I thought I don't want to do that, and so I joined the military. And so where did they send me? New Brunswick. But There was a reason for that. He was at the Phillips Exeter Academy, and I said, post me somewhere when I could be near this kid that won't go away, and we've got to see him through this. And so they sent me to New Brunswick, and he was at Exeter, and it was about eight hours drive down to Exeter, so it wasn't too bad. But in any case, when it came time to leave Lynn and go into my first military posting, Bill went with us, and we went on a 4-week camping trip. Now, you're going 3 weeks on a honeymoon? Yeah. Okay, well, this will be interesting, because we did 4 weeks, and there were days when I just said, like, we got into Quebec City, and I said, would you please disappear for a while? I've seen enough of you, and just need some time. But anyway, we went from there, and we went off through the Gaspé, and the idea was to come back to this military base where Bill could see where he'd be living when he wasn't at Phillips Exeter Academy. And when we got into the Gaspé, remember we kept saying Camping Bic. Now, this was in August, and we were escaping the heat of Massachusetts. And Camping Bic and the Gaspé was going to be a great break. And Camping Bic, the sign showed up about 100 kilometers before, and then as you got closer, the signs got more wonderful, and then we arrived. We drove through the gate, huge camping ground, and we were the only ones there. And when the night came, we found out why. It was freezing cold. And we were in a tent and all the rest, but Camping Bic, we went on. Now, this is the story. We went on into the middle of the Gaspé, and by that time we were looking like refugees, and cold and hungry. Well, we were eating whatever we could. We were cooking meals. He was a cook, by the way. He did the cooking. And we got into this place in the middle of the Gaspé, and it was a lovely lodge. And French cuisine, the whole bit in the lodge, so we said, let's go in and have dinner. And we did, and we looked pretty bedraggled, and we walked in, and here were these young guys in tuxedos with the towels over their hands, French cuisine at its best, and we sat down at a table. He was 15, he just turned 15, and I was, what, 28, 29 or something like that. I looked younger than my age, so I looked around 20, 21. He looked older, so he looked around 18. So we looked like we were brothers or something like that, traveling through. And we had this thing, and I decided to order a carafe of wine. And I said to Bill, now, the waiter put a glass in front of Bill, and I said, well, okay. I said, you can have some wine. But here's what's going to happen. I said, that waiter's going to come up, and he's going to chip off that stuff around the cork, he's going to decork it, he's going to pour it into my glass. I'm going to turn it around like this, I'm going to sniff it, and I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to smile approvingly and say, yes, you can pour the rest of the wine. So, he comes around. Did he not pour it into my glass? He poured it into his glass. And Bill picked up the glass, and he looked at the guy, and he swished it around, and he smelled it, and he tasted it and nodded approval, and I thought, that twerp. Look at him. And there he was. But that's what you see in him today. But look, at 15 years old, he had picked that up. I just told him once what would happen. He picked it up and did it beautifully. Ann and I got married. Ann and him were very good friends, became very good friends. We got posted to Germany. Bill was a military dependent of the Canadian Forces, so he got to go to Germany often. And he'd get on the plane whenever he was out of school, fly out of Ottawa, come to Germany. And then he took a year off school, spent a year with us in Germany. He learned all the German customs with a flair, and he spoke beautiful German. Well, Schwarzwald, Black Forest German, but anyway, he could speak wonderful German. But anyway, wonderful time. Now, Robyn, I got to tell you, the first time he started talking to me about you, I was very concerned about him. Single parent, 2 boys. Very concerned. Ann and I were very concerned. And we were wondering how this was all going to work out. And I went to New York, and I met you. And we spent some time together. And we discussed Bill, and we had a lot of common views as to where he should go and how his life should pan out. And I came back to him and I said, goodness sakes, don't let her go. I said, she is right for you. And it turned out to be right. And every time, now, Robyn and Bill are part of our family. They are family. And the boys are family. Tim and Justin, I want to say Justin, I'm French, but Justin. And great. They're a family, and they are part of our family. Bill was my best man at our wedding. At our daughter's wedding, they were both there. They're part of the family. Family events. Our kids would be here, but it's impossible for them to be here. But they they love the family, and they love you, and they love both of you, and they're going to be glad to see all the pictures and all the wonderful things when we get back to Ottawa tomorrow. So thank you so much.